everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Inside Egypt, where we bring you the latest political, we bring you the latest economic and cultural news here in Egypt and all around the world. I'm Rana Al-Qassas, and I'll be your host today's program of Inside Egypt. I'll be back in a short break. Please stay with us and don't go away. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received on Wednesday visiting Kenyan Vice President William Ruto. Presidential spokesman Ali Yusuf said the Kenyan official delivered a message to President al-Sisi from Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta. More in the following report.
Wednesday, Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. During the meeting, the Vice President of Kenya conveyed Kenyan President greetings to President al-Sisi and handed him a message from Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta on strengthening bilateral relations and increasing coordination and consultations between the two countries. The Kenyan Vice President expressed his country's appreciation for the technical support offered by Egypt in the field of training and qualification of human resources in a number of sectors, stressing that it reflects the depth of ties between the two countries. Ruto also pointed out to the importance of continuing to work to strengthen cooperation between the African countries in various fields. He also praised Egypt for hosting last year's summit of the three African economic blocs and its keenness to develop African joint trade and economic cooperation. For his part, President al-Sisi welcomed the Vice President of Kenya, stressing the close ties between the two countries at all levels. President al-Sisi sent his greetings to the Kenyan President, stressing Egypt's keenness on enhancing cooperation in all fields with all African countries in general and the Nile Basin countries in particular. The President also confirmed the existence of significant prospects for enhancing cooperation between the two countries in a number of sectors, particularly agriculture and tourism. Sisi also stressed Egypt's continuation to provide support and technical experience to Kenya in various fields. The meeting also tackled ways to strengthen coordination and consultations between Egypt and Kenya about a number of African files and issues, particularly the continuation of the development in the continent to help African countries to implement the African Development Agenda for the year 2063. For his part, Prime Minister Sharif Ismail met with the Vice President of the Republic of Kenya and held bilateral talks on ways to boost relations between the two countries.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Sameh Shukri, accompanied by Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriate Affairs Nabila Makram, met with His Excellency Commissioner of Immigration, Citizenship and the Internal Affairs of the European Union on his two-day official visit to Cairo. Nile TV's Dina Hweda conducted the following interview with Councillor Ahmed Abu Zaid, the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For more details about the meeting in the following report.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Sameh Shukri and Minister of Immigration and Egyptian Expatriate Nabila Makram met today with His Excellency Commissioner of Immigration, Citizenship and Internal Affairs of the European Union, Dimitrios Avramopoulos, on his two-day official visit to Cairo. The meeting has included discussing multiple issues such as illegal immigration, efforts that Egypt exerts in order to fight terrorism, stating that Egypt is considered to be the most stable and secure country in the Middle East.
Well, this is an important meeting because this is Mr. Dimitrios Avramopoulos is the European Commissioner for Migration and for Citizenship and Homeland Security. He stated at the beginning the importance of Egypt as a partner, as a strategic partner for Europe in the Middle East. Egypt as a stable country, and he mentioned that the most stable country in the region. It is very beneficial for Europe to have a strategic relationship and cooperation with Egypt.
The Commissioner of Immigration, Citizenship and Internal Affairs has expressed his appreciation to the Egyptian government in fighting illegal immigration, addressing the problem and find legal ways for illegal immigration. He also expressed his appreciation during his official meeting with Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri and Minister of Immigration Nabila Makram, and the efforts that Egypt done to fight terrorism and the persistence of the Egyptian government to make Egypt a secure and stable nation. The current migration emergency is turning increasingly to a global humanitarian problem, and the official talks and meetings that are taking place between the involved bodies are important to address the problem and find legal roads. Nile TV International.
Egypt's Industry Ministry declared a strategy to promote industrial development and foreign trade, targeting to double the rate of public and private investments in the industry sector by the end of 2020. The details in the following report.
The ministry declared its strategy to promote industrial development and foreign trade, targeting to double the rate of public and private investments in the industry sector by the end of 2020. A statement for the ministry said combined public and private investment in Egypt's industry sector is at 43 billion Egyptian pounds for the current year 2015-16, and that it would be doubled to reach 100 billion Egyptian pounds, thus boosting the sector's contribution to GDP up to a level of 20%. The ministry demanded supportive measures for the industrial development represented in legislation and institutional measures to support the business climate. The ministry explained that its strategy will focus on industries that contribute to reducing unemployment, rationalizing imports, changing the Egyptian export structure, as well as supporting industries with rapid growth that provide the targeted jobs needed and achieve economic, social, and environmental targets. The statement said that those industries have been identified through the analysis of Egypt's industrial capacities in accordance with international indicators. The ministry will also encourage investment in these sectors through an integrated package of support for the development of industrial and foreign trade measures.
Well, dear viewers, now it's time for the latest updates from the military activities this week with Yasmin Al-Affos.
Egypt and Jordan began joint military drills entitled Aqaba 2016 in southern Jordan on Monday and will continue until the 25th of November. Egypt's military spokesman said that Egyptian naval, ground, and special army forces are participating in the drills. The training includes lectures on launching joint missions and field trainings on conventional and non-traditional theories to develop operational readiness and share experiences with the Jordanian armed forces. Egypt has carried out 30 joint military exercises in the year 2016, partnering with 20 different Arab and African countries, as well as European countries including France and Russia. Egypt's Chief of Staff Mahmoud Hegazi met with a French delegation comprising President's Advisor for Policies and Defense Minister's Advisor, during which they discussed the latest developments in the region in light of the ongoing war against terrorism. Hegazi and the French delegation exchanged views on the recent conditions in the regional and international arenas. Nine Takfiri militants were killed in security crackdown on terrorist hideouts in northern Sinai. 40 IEDs were defused and an amount of ammunition were seized during the raid. The terrorist group launched deadly attacks against the police and army personnel stationed in northern Sinai. Therefore, an extensive counter-insurgency operation was launched to fight terrorism.
دار الرئاسة صاحب السمو الملكي الأمير فيصل ابن سعود ولي عهد المملكة العربية السعودية حينذاك، وذلك لحضور الاحتفال الرسمي لتوثيق الاتفاق العسكري الرسمي المشترك بين المملكة العربية السعودية والجمهورية العربية المتحدة.
Officials said that the Red Sea ports have witnessed an increase in tourist traffic by 61% last month compared to the same period last week. In Luxor, the airport received this week 100 tourists on board Egypt Air flight coming from Heathrow Airport in London. The details in the following report.
Spokesman for the Red Sea ports announced that the Red Sea ports have witnessed an increase in tourist traffic by 61% last month compared to the same period of the previous year. He said that 14,196 tourists arrived and left in October 2016 in the ports of Sharm el-Sheikh, Hurghada, Safaga, and Nuweiba. He pointed out that these ports have received 7,165 tourists of different nationalities, while 7,031 tourists have left. He added that the ports of Sharm el-Sheikh received 5,584 tourists, as 2,879 tourists arrived and 2,705 others left. He said that tourist traffic in the ports of Hurghada witnessed an increase of 81% compared to the same period last year. Meanwhile, head of the Luxor International Airport's public relations announced that the airport received this week 100 tourists on board Egypt Air flight coming from Heathrow Airport in London. Hussein pointed out that the tourists would visit Luxor's touristic attractions and archaeological sites in the western and eastern ports of the governorate, including the Valley of the Kings and the Temple of Karnak. Tourism officials expect an increase in the number of tourists visiting Egypt in the coming period as European countries start to lift the flight ban to Sinai.
Now we will have a look at the Tourism magazine, which brings us interesting news related to tourists and attractive destinations in Egypt. Abir Metwali reports.
Following diplomatic and archaeological procedures, Egypt succeeded in returning 2 lids that had been stolen and illegally smuggled out of the country. Shaban Abdel Gawad, the General Supervisor of the Antiquities Recreation Department, said that both lids were stolen through illegal excavation and then smuggled out of the country to Jerusalem via Dubai through an Israeli antiquities trader. Abdel Gawad explained that the Israeli Antiquities Authority and the Jerusalem Interpol noticed both lids in the showroom of an auction hall in Jerusalem in 2012, and the Jerusalem Interpol reported the incident to the Egyptian Interpol, who in return passed the information on to the Antiquities Ministry. Curators from the Grand Egyptian Museum restored and packaged artifacts at San al-Hagar Museum in the Tal Basta archaeological site in the Delta in order to transport them to the as yet unopened museum in Cairo. Isa Zidan, head of the restoration department at the new museum, said that the artifacts including objects from different eras of ancient Egyptian history. Among the most important are a limestone relief depicting a supervisor of a royal war chariots named Hassan Ptah and his wife, as well as a collection of late period sphinxes and statues of priest Sobek and limestone statues from Middle Kingdom. A number of Greco-Roman limestone heads area also among the batch, as well as pieces of mummy masks made from cartilage. The objects were packed in order to be transferred to the new museum early next week, where they will be subjected to restoration and added to the permanent displays.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Arab Music Festival is one of the most important festivals in Egypt and the Arab world. The Iraqi artist Nusayr Shama presented a number of his most beautiful compositions in the festival. Nile TV's Basma Taha was there and filed in the following report.
The Arab Music Festival, in its 25th round, continues its activities. Many young singers took part in the festival, like artist Ahmed Ashur and singer Hussein Hosni, who sang a song for the great artist Farid al-Atrash.
أول ما بدأت أغني للأطرش
I felt that the fans wanna hear songs for the singer Farid al-Atrash. They highly interacted with his song.
سمعوا المزيكا بس بتاعته.
The Arab Music Festival is keen on presenting new singers like Sabrina Negeli and many others in order to encourage them. My long cherished dream was to take part in the Arab Music Festival. It is really an honor to take part in such a great concert for the talented artist عاصي الحلاني.
أتمنى من قلبي يعني اللي أنا أشارك فيها.
He sang a number of his most beautiful songs, like بحبك وبغار, ست الستات, مالي صبر, and جنك نوني. Fans highly interacted with him. Basma Taha for Nile TV International.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of today's episode of Inside Egypt, where we brought you the latest in politics, economics, military, and cultural touristic events. I'm Rana Al-Qassas, sitting in for Shireen Aidel. Thank you so much for joining.